Doses of sacred mushrooms with trauma-informed somatic practices. Hi, I'm Rai, and this ministry is on a mission to help you embody healing. Let's answer your questions and call in expansion so you can integrate these highly effective evidence-based tools into your journey. Embodied microdosing is where science and spirituality meet to awaken the healer within. Let's take one conscious breath together. And begin.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the show. I've been playing with the idea of calling it a show. To me, a show would require like a teeny bit more song and dance, but I get that I come from a musical theater background. And your idea of a show is to press play on something on your boring car ride. So welcome to the show. I'm really glad you're here. This probably not so long episode is specifically directed towards those who maybe feel afraid to microdose, have some real hesitancies around the practice, and this is not for the people that are a no to microdosing. It's not for everyone, and that's okay. I'm not trying to convince those that are like, that makes me nervous and seems weird. No, thanks. I honor you that your no is a no. This is actually directed towards those who are very interested in microdosing. Do the research, watch my content, engage with me, engage with other practitioners who are sharing about this, watch the shows, the documentaries, listen to the podcasts, maybe even have sacrament ready to rock. Just waiting for that magical moment when every single star aligns and you have a opening to dose. And look, I studied behavior change a long time ago at Duke Integrative Medicine when I was studying to become a board-certified health and wellness coach. I was taught to understand that there are phases of readiness to change, and the contemplation and even the pre-contemplation phase and all of the build-up to making a change, even something like starting an exercise routine, is really necessary groundwork for actually doing the thing, right? We don't start with doing the thing. There is a whole series of things that happens before we do the thing. Unless you're me and someone handed you a microdose and said, "You ready?" And I said, "Giddy up." Some of you are in that category. Many of you fall in this "I'm afraid to dose" category. And I don't think I touched on this in the book, and I think it's really important. I touched on, is it addicting, or can I become too dependent, or the people who want to dose every day and need to sort of white knuckle through the non-dose days. This isn't for you. This is for the kind of a lot of you coming out of the woodwork lately saying to me like, okay, I'm totally sold. I want to do this. I'm not doing it. I can't, it's not been the right time. It's not been the perfect day. I want to make sure somebody's there for me. What if I freak out? All of those things, those hesitations, those doubts, those ways that we stop ourselves from taking action, those fears that accumulate in the system. I'm talking to you, homie. Right to you. Because there's a couple of things I want you to understand. When fear, doubt, resistance are happening in your experience, in your body, because let's be honest, it's a physiological experience of resistance that you're happening. Yes, you're having thoughts of resistance, but it's happening in your nervous system, your mind-body connection. When that's happening, you're trying to stay safe. Right? There's some reason, there's something that you believe or that your nervous system and body and cells and muscles and tissues believe might happen that is dangerous. Right? What if I freak the F out and start to trip? Yep. What if I don't become even more intolerant of my family or the people around me? What if I get more anxious? This is a big one in the anxious crew. but I'm already so anxious and this is supposed to help my anxiety. But what if it makes my anxiety worse? So now I'm going to get anxious about the possibility that this thing might make me anxious, but I won't take it. I'll just remain anxious about not taking it. Sound familiar? Right? Very common pattern, just stuck. And recently I had a conversation with one of you, and what came out, she so brilliantly came to was, I wonder if I'm resisting taking it because it might actually help. Clap, clap, applause, applause, hooray, hooray. That is correct. A lot of times the resistance isn't, what if it'll make me worse, although that's legitimate, and maybe on top of the real fear, what if I have to change? What if it shows me something that's so true, that's something I can't deny, that I'll have to shift, that I'll have no choice to become more aligned, more sovereign, more clear, that I'll have to let go of this addiction to these lower vibrational things that I say I hate, but I love, right? I get it. I see you. I'm in the process of working on my relationship to my device, to all electronics really, but that computer in the pocket, I try not to put it in my pocket, but you know the one I'm talking about. The supercomputer that can hijack the nervous system in minutes, but also is so soothing and like a baby blankie, and I can just put it on when I don't want to be with the discomfort of my life or my experience or some sort of shame or something I'm overthinking. And here we are at a Hulu show that's totally trash, and it makes me feel so much better to see people who are so asleep and suffering. That's just one tiny thing. Of course, social media. I realized I'm very dependent on feeling connected to you all, connected to exciting ideas, connected to the rise in consciousness that's happening on the planet, connected by text message to the people I love, connected in a way where I can just have a thought like, ooh, I want to communicate this to this person, and then I can just look at the supercomputer and instantly communicate it, right? Like, that satisfaction of instantaneous connection, or that feeling that there's something I have to do that'll move me forward, and I've just gotten the inspiration. Let me just real quick do it. Or there's a conversation from months ago that's suddenly coming back up, and now is the right moment to reach out to this person, right? I love the connection that the device affords us, and also I've become a slave to it, so that when I'm disconnected from the device, I somehow feel disconnected. And that's a little dangerous for me, because there's so much in my real life that's not inside the supercomputer that I want and need and desire to stay connected to. My land, my family, my children, my nourishment practices. But those aren't always quite as fun and don't give me as quick a hit, right? So why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about my relationship to my phone? To let you know that resistance piece, the first 2 weeks of setting the intention and taking the microdose and doing some breathing around, show me what's at the root of my attachment to my device, I was like, oh, no, you will not take this from me. This is very helpful. Here's all the reasons why. Here's the reason I need to take it back into the bedroom. I'm not feeling good today. I worked really hard today. I deserve it. I just got to observe myself in all the wild resistance and reasons and justifications and clenching and holding that I was doing to this thing I didn't want to let go of. And so I noticed, too, the intention started to fade. I had some microdosing days where it was like, well, I want to microdose about something different instead of staying with the very thing that I'm working through right now inside of book club. We have a small little group committed to 1 month of the same intention for this very reason, right? And that doesn't mean that every time I dose, I have to put more boundaries around the phone. In fact, I don't have that many. Really, right now, it's just first thing in the morning and last thing at night that I'm working to make more sacred space around with the device. But it's been a lot of noticing that resistance. I know that this process of microdosing works when you set the intention and do the work around what the mushroom reveals to you. And so I get it for those of you that are like, I know this is going to work. I feel it. The mushroom's been calling to me. I've seen it work for people around me. I've seen it work for my partner. I want it to work for me. I desperately do, but I literally cannot even bring myself to put a drop of it under my tongue and hold it because it's not the perfect day. It's not the perfect moment. I don't have the perfect intention yet. This probably is a pattern that you're experiencing in other areas of your life. And in the one brave, beautiful soul who chose to be vulnerable with me and share what was happening in her inner experience, we discovered that the pattern was, well, others need this medicine. My husband needs this medicine. My community needs this medicine, right? Oh, these 3 clients that I have, they definitely need this medicine. But me? Yeah, probably, but she's way worse. He's way messed up. They need it more. Let me give it to them. Right? And that was this person's, and I'm sure if you resonate with this, maybe your energetic direction. I project out, right? Here's what you need. Here's what you need. Here's what you need. How can I be of service to help you heal? But me, no, I'm fine suffering over here. I'm very, very attached to my anxiety and my resistance and my trauma and my perspective. And that mushroom is going to shift all of that. Guess what? It happens slow. This ain't a big old 3.5 gram, 4 gram journey that I'm asking you to take with your 1, 2, 3 drops. And a lot of the times, after months of resistance, I experienced this with some dear soul on TikTok who just had the medicine and just kept messaging me, I'm not ready, it's not time, I'm not ready. And I was very patient with her. And I also had to say, like, I'm not really available to, if you want to book a session, I'm happy to coach you through this. But, like, when you're ready, let me know how it goes. But I knew she would get to readiness when she was ready. And one day she got so sick and tired of being so sick and tired of being so sick and tired of her inner experience and her reactions to everything that she said, fuck it. And she became ready and she did it. And guess what she messaged me? I wish I'd done this months ago. What a waste. And I said, no, you needed that time. Something was processed through, and congratulations and welcome to the other side. There's something here for you. So some suggestions for those who are nervous, scared, resistant, in that place of, I don't want to say self-sabotage. I don't even believe self-sabotage exists as a term. Like, I just hate myself so much, I'm just going to go ahead and ruin everything, right? Like, what a way to really dislike yourself even more, right? I'm just a person who sabotages myself. No, that's your nervous system trying to keep you safe. And my first suggestion is to partner with yourself. Partner with the part of you that's afraid. As if the part of you that is nervous to dose is separate from the part of you that bought the sacrament, watches the stuff, has done the research, and knows this is right for them. Have a conversation, right? Hello, I see you're afraid. That's okay. There's no pressure here. Y'all, pressure is the last thing in the world that an afraid part needs, right? What do we do if a child is afraid of something? Do we push him far? Stop being afraid. Get over here, right? Exposure therapy, right? They're screaming. We're making them more traumatized, right? No pressure. Seeing, hearing, connecting with, right? What are you afraid of, right? What are you protecting us from? How can I support you? What do you need to feel more safe? This is considered parts work. And really cultivating this kind of relationship with any part of yourself that shows up. Maybe the afraid part dies down and suddenly the real mean part comes up, right? Starts lashing out at other people or insulting yourself, right? Oh, okay, here's the part that actually is trying to protect me, right? Hello, angry part. Hello, misdirected angry part, protective part, firefighter if you're into IFS, manager perhaps, right? How can I support you? How can we work together? What do you need in order to help me feel safe? Right? As if this part is separate from you. And the part that's doing that, communicating with the part, that's your true self. That's your highest self. That's the one that's like, oh, hell yeah, I want to heal. Let's go. Me, you, magic mushroom, God. Sounds like heaven. Right? Honor the part that's afraid, that's defensive, that's making it about other people. That's studying more instead of experiencing more. That's trying to troubleshoot and figure out what all the 10,000 things are that could go wrong so they can find a way to make it right. If you're feeling the call to microdose but unsure about where to start or to source, the Embodied Microdosing Sacrament Shop is a safe and sacred space for you to explore. Inside, you can find pure, organic, handcrafted tinctures, including our 2 mushrooms, psilocybin and Amanita muscaria, both designed for your healing, grounding, and connection. We also have flower remedies like rose, lavender, holy basil, just perfect to complement your mushroom microdosing practice. All of these liquid remedies are easy to dose, very tasty, and can be taken directly in your mouth or added to your tea or water. If you're curious about how they feel, you can read some of the testimonials inside the shop for inspiration. You can explore all of the offerings at embodiedmicrodosing.com/shop. These are sacred remedies for spiritual self-healers. That's embodiedmicrodosing.com/shop. Right, parts work. Great way to just start being a little more curious and asking more questions within. What's here? And then as a new part steps up, oh, my distracted part is here. I don't know. I lost the tincture for 6 months. I lost it. I can't tell you how many people say that. It's buried somewhere in my room. I guess when I find it, I'll dose. Right? And maybe you genuinely lost it, but this tends to happen with the people who are avoidant. Right? How convenient. Work with the part that's coming up. And maybe, here's my second suggestion, maybe you need to start with other sacraments that are not psychoactive, or even the Amanita mushroom, the beautiful soul I was talking with the other day. So much resistance around the psilocybin-containing mushroom, what we can call the original sacrament inside the ministry, but she's taken that Amanita just fine. She said, I don't know if this is okay to say, but it's like sort of like a little light Xanax. Yeah. Thank you, Amanita. Considered nature's benzo. Very subtle, but it kind of smooths out the system. It can actually help heal the damage from benzodiazepines like Xanax and Klonopin. That long-term damage that can happen in the GABA receptors. Amanita's really got some impressive mechanisms in the pharmacology of the mushroom that directly support the same receptor, the GABA receptors. So maybe you start with the Amanita mushroom. Maybe you start with something like passion flower or lavender, lemon balm, rose, so many of the other herbal and flower sacraments that we offer inside of the ministry and that are widely available among many herbal companies. You can go online and buy any of these things. You could start making them as teas, infusions, tinctures, supporting the ministry to buy these very affordable sacraments that I've had some people say, I'd rather take the rose or the passion flower or the lemon balm some days than the original sacrament because it's more of what my system needs. It's more of a hug. It's more soothing. It's more supportive and doesn't kind of like stir things up. Wonderful. This is why these sacraments exist. Right? If you decided to never work with the sacred mushroom again because you found that the rose was so heart-opening to you and helped you access the medicine that you needed, boom, then rose is your medicine. Enjoy. It's more affordable and also makes an amazing companion to the original sacrament or the Amanita sacrament. I'm talking about rose specifically, but all of them are formulated to work in companionship with or on your non-dose days or instead of. Maybe other sacraments are what you need, but maybe other sacraments can open the door and pave the way for you to become more soothed, more available, for more heart open, more ready to receive the medicine of the original sacrament, the psilocybin-containing mushroom, which has a deep and rich and powerful wisdom. And I get why some people are afraid. Just assuring you all here, if you're newer to the ministry or the sacrament, it's really quite subtle. It really is. So don't be afraid. Start out with 1 drop. That's why we start with 1 drop. Some people get very impatient when, especially those with a higher tolerance around 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 drops are like, 1 drop, 3 drops. I'm not feeling anything yet. 6 drops, right? Why do we do it this way? Fine. Jump up by 3 drops at a time if you're like ready to rock. We do it this way so you build the trust and realize, I took 1 drop and I didn't lose my mind or hysterically cry, right? Or get a divorce. Or decide to quit my job, or suddenly start loving myself, because that would be the most horrifying thing, right? We microdose because all of this change and transformation happens in micro doses. My last suggestion is really start with the embodiment. So many people find microdosing and then find this ministry, and then they piece the embodiment piece in, and they're like, whoa, this was missing, right? Yes, and what if it came first? What if learning how to breathe, really just so simply, I actually hate the term breath work because it's been so saturated to mean like hyperventilating and doing these like really aggressive breath things. If you've done any work inside of my ministry, you know that the trauma-informed breath work that I guide is and can be super gentle. But if you want to turn the volume up on it, bring it, right? I'm going to hold that container for any amount of breath that you want to bring into your experience. But this can be super gentle. Maybe you start your microdosing practice by learning how to microdose a couple of breaths at a time, right? If you are so incredibly disconnected from your body and living in this place of fear of putting anything in your mouth or doing anything that could make you feel differently, real medicine here for you is beginning to foster a connection to your body, your nervous system, your heart space, your belly, bringing the body online. If you've been chronically dissociated from your physical self for a really long time and you've been analyzing your trauma, hypervigilant about understanding it and studying it and knowing why you are the way you are not doing the deeper work of healing. I love you, and I love that you understand all of it, and I was right there with you 10 years ago. I understood it all, and I can still psychoanalyze anybody. And this missing piece that suddenly, culturally, we're bringing online, this awareness of the somatic experience and how important it is in processing and reprocessing what has happened to us or not happened to us, right? What we didn't receive. The T word, trauma, that whether you believe it or not as a variable, the way that we have been shaped as people based on our nervous system responses to our environment, that's real. And that requires real tending and a real reconnection to yourself in order to heal. And it's not something that happens overnight. I'm finding deeper and deeper layers of reconnection to my body. I'm actually taking this online physical therapy course for hypermobile people. Discovered recently that the hypermobility, the double jointedness that I always just thought was like a party trick, may actually be at the root of some of my chronic pain. After many, many years of blaming everything else and getting some results touching on everything else, breathwork having been very helpful, I realized that the bendy, stretchy way that I am built, that my collagen is built, that I was genetically born with, and the ways that I learned to stand and hold myself or not hold myself and move through life is actually requiring some deeper support. And so in doing this physical therapy program, I am microdosing before doing my PT exercises. That's my embodiment. And whoa, whoa. Today I worked with some cannabis before my PT exercises too, and which for me is an incredible embodiment medicine. And whoa. So we like right at the beginning of this course, it's pelvic floor, which I don't think I have issues with, right? I was like, oh God, can we get up to the shoulders and the neck? Because that's my real sore spot. But no, we cannot get up to shoulders and neck until we've built from the bottom up. And my bottom, that perineum, that pelvic floor, that lady who gave childbirth vaginally to 2 babies, that way that I'm holding my pelvis, even the tilt of my pelvis, all of that, I'm getting some very subtle opportunities to rebuild around. And whoa, I have a new layer of somatic awareness of myself. Even on my walk today, I was feeling a little bit like floppy, and my thoughts were even all over the place. And I just pulled up on my pelvic floor and held very gently, just an isometric as I was walking, and I sent a breath there. And oh, guess what? The chaotic energy that was flowing outward and floppy and messy began to shift, and I flowed inward and found my midline and my base and my root and myself, and my thoughts shifted with it. Stop trying to talk yourself out of how you feel. Shame yourself for the thoughts you're having. chase your thoughts around or allow your thoughts to drag you around. You are not your thoughts. And you might cognitively know this, but you are not living this. Your brain, your thoughts, it's all a mechanism to keep you safe and to process information so you don't just hold your hand on the stove, right? So my point is the embodiment piece, the connection to self, the connection to your physical self. Not quick, clear your mind and go to your body. Not, oh, your mind is such a mess. I wish I could stop thinking and start being in my body. You don't have to try and stop thinking. You just have to find your physical form. What can you hear? What can you taste? What do you feel against your skin in this moment? How does your breath feel coming in your nose and moving out of your mouth? Those are all teeny, tiny, small ways to begin coming home to your physical experience. And you will notice that your nervous system and your body begins to respond when you do that. Running your fingers, try it now, up and down the inside of your arm. A very soft, gentle cue called havening, or what I called it when I was little, just tickling. Right? Not mean tickling, someone tickling you and you want them to stop, but they won't. Self-tickling, or with my girlfriends at sleepovers, now you tickle my back. Did anybody else do that? And those gentle fingertips along the back, along the inner arms, around your lips or your eyes, over your chest, dragging from the center of your chest out, up and down the tops of your thighs, wherever you have exposed skin. That can be embodiment too. So I have a bazillion different embodiment techniques that we use inside of the ministry. Come to Breathwork Church the first Sunday of every month. You can get there through the ministry. I'm actually trying to create an easier access point to sign you up for Breathwork Church, so stand by. But this is what I offer inside the ministry. Yes, instructions for microdosing. Yes, answering your questions for microdosing, right? Yes, courses and challenges to stick with a microdosing practice. Yes, an entire book that tells you how to microdose step by step. And the reason you are here following me and this ministry and this work is because I'm weaving all of that microdosing protocol type stuff in with embodiment. Your experience of working with the dose in this physical human form that you've been given. Because the magic is at the intersection of the two. So, how does this land? This episode is also relevant for those of you who are hesitant to get consistent. You have dosed. You do feel the medicine. And you're like, it's so special that I just want to do it once a month. Right? Does that behoove you? Is that moving the needle? And maybe it's for those of you that started and were consistent at one point, and then you stopped because it got real, or because it got hard, or because you had an emotional experience. And now you're like, I've integrated, and it might even be calling me back. I'm seeing mushrooms, and I'm remembering things, and I'm curious, but oh God. This applies to you too. Connect with the part. Get curious. Connect with your body. Find your physical form. And connect with maybe another sacrament to see if there's another portal, another pathway for you to do this work. Again, I don't think the sacred mushroom is for everyone all the time, and I do honor taking breaks and resting and integrating. That's a hugely important part of the practice, and in fact, I probably need to do a podcast episode just on that. And for those of you that are trying to think your way to your first dose, I'm going to invite you to pick a day. It's not going to be a perfect day. If you need to have someone there, if you need to tell a friend that you're going to dose, if you need to create a setting that feels safe, if it needs to be a day when you don't have a lot of responsibilities, fuck yes, do that, choose it. And recognize that on the morning of that day, your brain is going to try and find reasons why you can't or you don't or you won't. and just stay with yourself. Walk yourself through this. I've got you. I'm here with you. We're going to just try a little. Yeah. And then we'll know. We'll have more information, right? And anything that happens, we can handle it. We can handle shifts in the subtle realm. We can handle feeling a little feeling. We can handle feeling more connected to ourselves little by little, because that's how we heal. That's how trauma heals. All of it, bit by bit. It's why I'm so passionate about microdoses and the subtle doses. It's why I'm so passionate about 3 breaths, 3 minutes of breath. We really do heal in titration, little by little by little. And it's not linear, and you're going to feel like you're going backwards, and there's no such thing because this isn't a line graph, and we're not measuring progress that way. It's how we all change and heal and grow and transform. A little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the back, a little to the forward. The whole thing's a beautiful dance. And when we learn how to not judge ourselves every time we, do a cha-cha-cha backwards, and recognize we're not going backwards because our partner was coming towards us, and now we can cha-cha-cha forward. I'm not even a dancer. I don't know where I'm getting this from, but I hope you're working with me on this metaphor. There is no backward and forward. There's a whole dance floor, and there's movement in every direction. And if you cha-cha-cha backwards and go, that was probably bad, and what am I doing, and I messed up, and there was a little stumble there, so fuck, let me just go sit on the sidelines for a while and beat myself up, right? You're elongating this entire process and making yourself even more crazy, unstable, unwell. Your relationship with yourself is it, y'all. The way you hold yourself, the way you come back to God, the way you ask for help, the way you say, it's okay, I've got you. The way I used to treat myself when I made any mistake, even a couple of years ago, and the way I treated myself today when I made a classic Rye mistake that would have just sent me over the edge and had me lashing out at others as well and finding somebody to blame, night and day. Night and day, because this practice, because this medicine, because these protocols, for lack of a better word, that I teach, this way that we can hold ourselves through the transformation process has brought me healing. And so has my relationship to God. So has asking for forgiveness. So has just coming back to the reality that I am a human and I am flawed, and that is part of the beauty here. Being humbled and smiling in it and holding my heart in it and recognizing how crippling shame and guilt and unprocessed fear and grief are. And when those things arise, allowing them to be seen and shepherding myself through little moments of shame so that when they come now, it's like, oh yeah, I know what this is. I'm sorry. I forgive you. Thank you. I love you. Those 4 lines are part of the forgiveness prayer that I teach inside of the book, and that I'm actually going to be guiding a ceremony around in book club, the small group that we've put together. That's just such an amazing group of women this Tuesday night. Thinking about running another book club this summer. Stand by and see. It's been so nourishing. And I don't know, maybe those 4 lines, maybe that part of the book towards the end, maybe the idea of that Ho'oponopono, that Hawaiian forgiveness prayer could help usher you through those moments of shame, grief, guilt, fear that hold us back. But breath can do it. Hand on heart can do it. A drop or 3 or 10 of rose sacrament can do it. Hands around your arms, squeezing yourself can do it. Calling a friend who would speak kindly to you can do it. Reminding you how to speak to yourself, right? But it's that shepherding. It's that relationship with yourself where you just inch by inch, millimeter by millimeter, 1% by 1%, flavor in a slightly different way each time until 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 10 months later, you look back and you're like, oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. And it's a process. So be gentle, be patient, be kind to yourself, but stick with it. Keep dosing, get consistent, show up for that dose. And guess what? Your next 2 or 3 microdosing days, you're going to want to look for another perfect day, and your brain is going to do the thing of making all the excuses. Take a breath, hold yourself. I've got you, love. Let's do this again on this messy fucking day. And I don't know, maybe it'll help. And guess what? 99% of the time, y'all tell me, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I dosed. It helped. So this is for you, all of you afraid to dose. I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. I'm not telling you to override any logical, real thing that needs curiosity and examining, but I am telling you to consider that you're getting in your own way, and you have an opportunity when you dose to set an intention and ask the mushroom. Don't think up some wild intention that's different from what you're actually experiencing. Show me why I'm so resistant to this medicine, sacred mushroom. And maybe your first dose day is holding the medicine. And maybe you start to put it somewhere you can see it. And maybe you take it out and just smell it or look at it or drop a few drops back into the container. There are many ways to get closer to tasting and feeling and touching. And set the intention. Show me how this pattern of resistance is holding me back. Show me how to heal this. Show me what it feels like to follow through with the thing I say I'm going to do without letting my angry part, my fearful part sabotage me, blame others. Show me what it looks like to extend compassion to myself and others for those moments when we are stuck. Show me how to get on my own side. Show me how to work with my body instead of trying to chase my mind. Show me the way. So I hope these tips for you, the fearful one, who is not totally defined by being the fearful one and who soon will be more in the seat of the highest self having a conversation with the fearful one. I hope that this has been a supportive episode for you. I'm so excited for you to kick off your microdosing journey. It's okay to be afraid, and it's okay to be afraid and do it anyway, right? Action cures fear. So find that place of walking yourself through it. Prove to yourself that you can. And let us know inside the Embodied Microdosing Ministry how it went, what came through for you. Super, super excited to continue this journey with you. Thank you for listening to the podcast. If anything that I've said on any episodes of the show resonates with you, please, please do the things where you help me. You just have to click the 5 stars in iTunes. You can leave a comment or a review in Spotify or on the podcast. I do have to figure out how to respond to them, but even just leaving the review helps me. So thank you. Share this episode with anyone you know who maybe has been curious about your microdosing process, but a little bit afraid, and let them know we're here for them inside the ministry. We specialize in first-timers and newbies. We love them. And inside the ministry app hosted on Mighty, it's just a private place where we can hang out totally free. I do have a mini course, Microdosing for Healing, and I explain the entire method. Maybe you need a little more education to come out of contemplation and move into action. Come take the mini course. Practice understanding dosing and breathing with me. I'll walk you through it, practices that are under 10 minutes. And then, baby birdie, I'm going to set you free to fly. Of course, there are always resources here. We have so much support and love for you inside the ministry, and we can't wait to welcome you into our homey and safe space. Thanks for being here.